Putin calls for extinction of unipolar world, as you can see in an article linked up on Mark13news.com for September 4th, 2025. The Russian Federation being the current king of the North, according to the Daniel 11 hypothesis on biblicalresearchlabs.com, and the Russian Federation is for the most part controlled by the Kenites on the multipolar end of the globalist spectrum, as opposed to the unipolarist Kenites, who for the most part control the left-right paradigm, which is symbolized by Ammon and Moab, which is really Stalinism and Trotskyism. As Christ says in Matthew 24, Mark 13, and Luke 21, nation shall rise against nation, meaning the Kenite nation rising against itself through two warring factions within the shadow government thereof, which is symbolized by the he-goat of Daniel chapter 8, and the great horn of the he-goat is the United Nations, which, as you can see in Daniel chapter 8 verse 8, has to get broken before the four notable ones, which are the four beasts of Daniel chapter 7, can emerge to replace it at the beginning of the 5-month-long hour of temptation. So no matter what the Kenites do to try and bring about the New World Order, as it's called, they shall fall, as you can see in Daniel chapter 11 verse 14, and that word translated as fall there is from a Hebrew word, which in this case means to fail, because it's only when Satan and his angels get cast from heaven to earth at the woe of the fifth trumpet that the one world political system of Revelation 13 will emerge, having 7 heads, which are symbolic of the 7 continents of the planet Earth, and 10 horns, which are symbolic of 10 fallen angel kings, which are part of Daniel's 4th beast in Daniel chapter 7, which is exclusively supernatural. It's also at the woe of the 5th trumpet that the he-goat of Daniel chapter 8 becomes the leopard of Daniel chapter 7, which is symbolic of the Kenites and their 4 hidden dynasties, providing the infrastructure of the so-called New World Order. And it's also at that time that the Ezekiel 38 Confederacy becomes the bear of Daniel chapter 7, with the lion being symbolic of the Christian nations up until after the deadly wound to the one world political system, when it becomes a one world religious system at the woe of the 6th trumpet, when Satan appears in Jerusalem as the false Christ, because that's when most Christians will begin worshiping Satan instead of Christ, which is what Antichrist means, causing the Christian nations to become non-Christian nations, which is why you see those 3 horns plucked up by the roots in Daniel chapter 7 verse 8, which are symbolic of Ephraim, Judah, and Manasseh, meaning the United Kingdom, including the British Commonwealth, Germany, including Europe, because Germany will have by that time most likely filled in the post-Brexit power vacuum, in the United States. Those 3 horns in Daniel chapter 7 verse 8 being the same thing as the 3 ribs in Daniel chapter 7 verse 5 that will be in the mouth of the bear between the teeth of it at the woe of the 6th trumpet, when they become non-Christian nations also. Again, the bear is symbolic of the Ezekiel 38 Confederacy that will be headed by Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, meaning most likely Moscow and Tobolsk, and the lion is symbolic of the Christian nations up until 666, meaning the 6th seal, the 6th trumpet, and the 6th vial, when Satan appears as the Antichrist. The true Christ won't return at all until 2.5 months later at the woe of the 7th trumpet, and as the true Christ says in the last verse of Mark chapter 13, what I say unto you, I say unto all, watch.